What's going on, everyone? It's Mike, it's John, back again, and we've got a bit of a new show. So, I didn't think I'd do the full intro. I did. What's the point? Like, we did it yet. Do you want the intro? Do you want the intro?
No, because you've ruined it now. Just carry on. We know what the intro is. Means we're ready to come on.
If you want. Are you desperate for it?
No. I'm desperate for nothing, mate. Just
Are you
fucking
sure?
talk. Yes, everyone. It's Michael. It's John back again, and this is your news show.
Go on then. You carry on. You're doing a good job.
I was waiting for the intro to come on again.
Brilliant. Right. Well, there you go. There's 1 minute of your time wasted, everyone. I hope you thoroughly enjoyed yourselves there. John, let's talk about Alcaraz. I think his name is Carlos Alcaraz, but he's known as Carly Alcaraz. He's also got the last name Duran. I mean, he's got a full, big, long sort of Argentinian name, big, lengthy one. But anyway, he's had some big moves as well. He's played for Juventus.
Southampton,
yeah, massive club. He's got some goals in him. He's got a few assists. He's fairly creative. You're happy with this, or you're not happy?
Well, to be honest, I haven't seen much of him because I don't really watch players on YouTube anymore because it can lie to us. Beto looked like a world beater on YouTube. But from all accounts, he can play anywhere across the middle. He can play as a false number 9. I was looking at some stats before. You're quite right with what you say. He's got a goal in him. He's got an assist in him. He's a hard worker. He's had a move to Juventus, as you say, some big clubs. And this come out the blue, no apparent in the nose. ITKs knew about this today. It has just come from nowhere, which is how it should be. And it's quite exciting because you're just like, we were all down in the doldrums and we'd heard nothing. And the next minute, your phone's like beep, 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 beep. And, the first tweets come from Flamenco, whatever you want to call it. I think they've jumped the gun a bit, according to some reputable, who we believe, sources, that they've said, he's leaving them to come to Everton. Looks like they have jumped ahead of themselves a bit, but it looks like it's a deal that could be done. A midfielder, as you say, and I think what he's done, Michael, is because obviously we've lost Mangala and James Garner's just coming back from injury and could have left us a bit weak. We have spoke about Tim Ibrahim coming in. Let's see how it affects him, this player coming in. It's all about squad size. Do you know what I mean? How is this going to affect him? It's going to take a while to get up to match fitness. There is an option to buy. Obviously, it's not an obligation to buy. I don't like obligation to buy because it feels like it's forced onto you. So at least with the obligation to buy, we can see how he does. But if he's able to fill all them positions across the middle and play that false 9, then, it covers us in a few positions if there's any more injuries. Because once the end of the transfer window comes, we can't do anything else.
Yeah, you're spot on. And I was reading some of the stuff about him. He'd obviously gone to Southampton and he'd done well. He got a move to Juventus on loan. And apparently there was an option to buy in there for about 50 million euros. I mean, this is how highly rated this guy was, literally a year ago. So, he's clearly got a bit about him. I have watched a few YouTube videos of him because I must say, I can't remember too much about him in Southampton. I do think I remember him at Southampton, but I'm not going to sit here and say I know loads about him. But, he's a player that he does add a little bit of everything, if you get what I mean. It looks like he's a ball player. He can pass. And you alluded to it. Maybe he's a little bit like Arteta potentially was, back in the day when he played centrally for Everton. And yeah, I'm certainly not against a signing like this. He knows the Premier League because he's played in it, which again was one of the sort of things that we mentioned. I just think with a player like this, it's how much the potential buy clauses how much is he going to cost us? That's the bit that I'm interested to find out, because he went to Flamengo, and I think the deal was £15 million, 18 million euros or something. Now, surely they're going to want a profit. They only bought him, I think, in August. So I'm just a bit. How much they're going to want for him? If it's a success, if it's a success and we're happy and all that, how much are they going to want? And that's the question I've sort of got.
See, what surprises me is he scored last night, and then all of a sudden, he's coming to Everton. He's on the move to Everton. From what I gather, the likes of Flamengo, they're not going to be a rich club. So, when you've got players like that, first of all, what we'll hit on is it's a good deal for Everton if it becomes a permanent, and we can get him for like 25 million euros or something, which is what, about 22 million quid at the age he's at, and he can cover a lot of positions. That's what I like about midfielders. When you can bring a midfielder in and they're capable of playing, anywhere across the middle or support on the striker. I think I read somewhere he's actually played up front as well. So he gives you an option in quite a few areas of the pitch. Now, even if it costs you 30 million euros, which is what, 27 million quid, for a player of that age who's got Premier League experience, who can play in that many positions, it's not a bad deal.
Yeah, I'm literally just reading the Wikipedia page about him. So January 23, he signed a 4.5-year deal with Southampton in the Premier League. 14th of January, he made his debut in a 2-1 victory against Everton.
Brilliant.
He scored a goal against Wolves in a defeat. And then in October of that year, he signed a new 5-year deal. So Southampton must have really rated him. Now, I'm trying to work out if that was when Southampton got relegated, and therefore he then ended up going to Juventus in the January. And this is where this buyout clause was. But Flamengo bought him for 18 million. And this is their club record signing. And this only happened 3 months ago.
So when you break it down and you say that, you're quite right with what you say. He's got Premier League experience.
5 months ago. 5 months ago.
Southampton rated him that much that they give him a new contract. Obviously, he was still playing well for a club like Juventus to come in for him. And then he got the move to Flamengo. So, Southampton, Juventus, Flamengo, Premier League experience, a big club in Italy, and Flamengo are willing to loan him out. Whether he hasn't settled there, because it's obvious he hasn't been there that long, he might not have settled there, Michael. Do you know what I mean? It could be anything like that. I can't tell you where he's from. I don't know where he's from.
He's Argentinian.
He's Argentinian. So, we've seen some very, really good Argentinian players in the past. And for me, it sounds like he's got a bit of skill about him. He's got a bit of guile about him, as you quite rightly said before. He's got a goal in him. He's got an assist in him. He seems to me like an all-round midfielder. Now, we haven't really got one of them at the football club. When you go through your midfield, haven't really got an out-and-out all-round midfielder. So he's going to offer us options in different positions. And for the money that he will probably cost us in the January transfer window to get a loan for a player like that, I think it makes complete sense.
I was reading through, so literally, you probably won't be able to tell it. Oh, can you? You can't see. So I'm reading a couple of tweets. So Fabrizio Romano, this was the 31st of January 24. So this is literally a year ago today. He signed for Juventus on loan from Southampton with an agreed buyout option of 40 million. And I always think it's interesting to read the comments. This is
all in Argentinian, look.
Anyone who watched even a little bit of Southampton last season know he was one of the few highlights in the team. Box-to-box midfielder with a high ceiling of development. He's just 21. Here's another one. Win signing. W, so they're basically saying he was a good signing. There's a lot of people saying that he's bang average. There's a lot of people saying that he's not worth 40 million. But there is clearly a lot of love there. There's clearly people saying here he's a good talent. He'll be impactful at Liverpool. I mean, this is funny. He's going to be as impactful at Juventus the same way that Mane was at Liverpool. He has the full potential to become world-class, playing alongside some of the best in the game at Juventus. Now, look, it hasn't worked for him. But that can be because of lots of reasons. David Moyes always used to get a player like this and turn them into a superstar. And we saw it. Pienaar, Arteta, Cahill, Jagielka, Leighton Baines. These were all players that were good players, but but Moyes made them. He made them world beaters almost. He made them real players, and this guy ticks that box for me. He ticks that box.
See, David Moyes has always got. You've just reeled quite a few players off there. I think what David Moyes does, and I hope he's still capable of it, because obviously he's older than when he was his first time at Everton, but he seemed to see the potential in a lot of players and get the best out and the most potential out of certain players that he can get. We've seen it with Leighton Baines. We've seen it with Cahill, as you quite rightly say. Fellaini, Jagielka, to Pienaar, Baines, players that no one had ever really heard of. Now, this player, for me, when I seen it today, when I seen the message, I haven't heard of him. But when you reel off his stats and the clubs he's been at and some of the comments, without watching him and without seeing him in the flesh at Everton Football Club, I think we can confidently say that there's potential there to be unlocked. Yeah. And I think what I've just said before, if there's a manager out there who can unlock a potential from a young player like that, who's had the moves he's had in his career, and to get the best out of him, it's someone like a David Moyes.
Yeah, completely agree. And I also think that you can use this. You know, Moyes can use this. He can use this as an opportunity to change the way that he wants to play, because, you know, we have got players that maybe could have done this job. You know, Tim probably could do the box-to-box job, but it just gives him another option, doesn't it? You know, this guy's been playing at times false nine and different positions. It all of a sudden means you've got a little bit of flair throughout this team. You know, you look at NJ, you look at, you know, this lad Alcaraz. It looks like they've got a bit of skill. They've got pace. They can move the ball quickly. They can pass through the lines. So all of a sudden, it looks like whoever the striker is that we bring in, that I expect to bring in on Monday. And look, me and you, I briefly spoke to you today, but based on, I think West Ham have made a bid for a player in Italy. I can't remember it. Papi, I think his name is. Based on the fact that West Ham have made a move for him, I firmly expect Everton are going to go balls deep for Ferguson.
There's a few rumours flying around that Chelsea are going to come in for Evan Ferguson.
Well, we'll see. But it would not surprise me if Everton's number one striking target is Evan Ferguson. Whether we get him or not, who knows?
Do you know what you've just said there about, you know, Ndiaye and obviously creating chances for the centre forward, whoever that may be? Listen, I'm only speaking on stats and the few YouTube videos I've watched and from what Michael's reeled off about this Alcaraz. So I'm only speaking on the strength of that. Now, if all that is a prospect that's going to come to Everton and show that, the likes of that player will complement Ndiaye. So you'll see even more from Ndiaye. You know, we've spoke about it on here a couple of times over the last couple of weeks about how many players are going to be out of contract. Decore is one of them. Apparently, by all accounts, Everton have opened talks with Idrissa Gana Guy today over a 12-month contract. That'll probably to help out. He's not going to play every game. We all know that. Cup games, experience, the younger players, i.e. Alcaraz, if we sign him on a permanent, and Tim Ibrahimovic, who has still got that experience in the background with Idrissa Gana Guy. So when you're bringing players in like this fella, Everton are going to look at him till the end of the season, and there is an option to buy. So obviously, if we want him, whatever they want, if we want him, we pay. But I think it's a good opportunity to bring someone like this in the January transfer window when you've got so many midfielders and players in the squad out of contract. And if he's good enough, he comes in and he replaces one of them. It gives you options. It gives you squad size. He's young. He's probably got his best years ahead of him. And as I said it before, for a player with potential like that, if there's any manager that can get the best years out of a player, it's probably David Moyes.
Yeah, spot on. Spot on. I think that's a fair assessment. Fair assessment. I mean, David Moyes used to be able to pull the talent out of anyone. I mean, he'd make you look good. I mean, he was that brilliant. He'd make you look decent on the left wing.
He'd score open goals, though, would he?
Oh, mate, I hit the crossbar again on Tuesday as well. Ridiculous. So, yeah, cool. All right, fair enough. Well, I haven't really got anything else to add. Moyes' press conference today was pretty much as expected. He did feel a little bit downbeat about transfers, potentially. It was almost like he was trying to calm us down a touch, basically saying, look, it's difficult. But then this evening, it looks like we've signed a player, or we're signing a player. So David Moyes doing a typical David Moyes, and I love it. I absolutely love it. No one knew about it. No one knew about it. You know, we're in a fortunate position, and no one knew about it. There was no embargo. There was nothing.
I think that's the way it should be. And, for David Moyes to sit in front of the press and then 2 hours later, 3 hours later, it come out that we're in advanced talks with him, apparently. But that's been sort of put on a back burner as well. I don't think I think the advanced talks come from Flamengo's end. I think they were quite quick to tweet out, as we said at the beginning of the video. But this is how it should be, Michael. Everyone should find out at the same time. And I think it's brilliant that it come out like that, and how many times have Everton had Football Club had their hands burns where there's been leaks and stuff like that, and it's starting to come out, and then other clubs swoop in for them. We've had it many, many times, and obviously clubs get wind of it, but I think they only get wind of it when it's more advanced, if them leaks stop. And listen, for me, mate, if I don't hear another thing about incomings to 10:59 on Monday night, I will be happy with that.
Yeah, fair. Right, we will leave it there because it is late. We just wanted to hop on and do a video. Match reaction tomorrow, obviously. I'm going to change my score prediction, John.
There we go.
To an Everton 4-1 win. 2 goals from Beto, 1 from Njai, and 1 from Tarkowski from a corner.
We have a bet on that.
For charity.
You put your $5 on that, and I'll put a $5 on 3-1.
Yeah, okay. I like that.
Goes to my charity.
Your bank account. Right, guys, look, we'll leave it there. Keep smiling. Me and John are going to have a few games of FIFA and rip it up. Well, I'm going to rip it up. John is fucking awful.
We end up the end of the game with about 8 players.
Yeah, oh my God. Right, anyone who's still watching, I haven't got an outro yet, so I'm just going to play the intro and end the video. Right, anyway, up the toffees. Keep smiling. Peace.